Recently, I've been sharing how I've been pushing, very intentionally pushing towards getting more documentary DP work. Instead of just saying, oh, I want that, how come it's not falling in my lap? I'm going to be putting out more and more videos going step by step of how I'm going to cultivate more documentary gigs. In the meantime, I still need to satisfy my current clients. I only have one retainer, and I didn't really want a retainer ever because I knew it was going to take up all my time. This one takes up probably 35% of my month, which is a lot, but it floats essentially 100% of my living costs, so I can use that other 70% of the time to go approach or get these types of projects that I actually do want to have. So we'll have cover here until almost 12. So yeah, we can use this area. One audio test, so test.
Test.
Actually, let me correct that. I do want this job. I want to keep it intact because it's a good working relationship. It's consistent. And like I said, it allows me the opportunity to find the creative types of work that I want to involve myself in. And that is so hard to get when you're a freelancer. Getting the money in and having the time to pursue the things that you will find most fulfillment in. So this is about as far away as documentary work that you can get. This is scripted social media ads, very TikTok-y, short form. When I first started with this client, I had the C70, and then I got the FX6, and eventually they were just like, that's not the look we want. We want the UGC stuff that we see on social media. So when we do green screen stuff, we bring out the normal camera. But for this type of stuff, really the best tool and the easiest tool, especially when we're shooting in public, is just my iPhone. This is the 13 Pro. And I have to forego the very nice high quality Sony UWP lavs for this very efficient system of the DJI Mic 2s. They're honestly fantastic. And when you pair that up with this Teleprompter app, which is just called Teleprompter, you get to see all of the text on screen, and it's very useful for this type of work. Experimenting more, put the phone down. We're going even lower resolution with the Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses. These ones are a little hard to use, and I don't even know how the footage came out because they uploaded to the cloud on the client's phone, but we were able to shoot, I believe, in 60-second increments, and then if you tap it again, it continues the recording. There's a little light on the right side of the sunglasses that you can see, and that's how I know when it's rolling. So it's definitely a new tool. I'm not the best at it, but it is interesting because they actually do just feel like normal glasses.
Who needs a production van when your girlfriend has a Toyota?
Okay, this is our Pure Space. We're going to be doing a pseudo documentary, kind of like a interviewer, both interviewees, and the client is initially saying that they don't like it, it's way too dark, and I'm just having to calm down their worries and be like, we're going to blast it with light, don't worry. And I'm going to be using 300C, 200X, rented a Nanlite 300B, and then maybe 60D as some hair, and just raise up all the ambient level in here. Not really going for a lot of directional light. We're gonna have a lot of soft boxes, and yeah, got about 10 minutes to get this set up, so gotta work quick. Last week, I uploaded my first long-form conversation. Essentially, it's a podcast. I just don't want to call it that. With Jared Phelps from Dallas. And I really, really liked having this organic business owner conversation.
I think pricing is just like the toughest part for anybody. It's like, for the longest time, my biggest hurdle was to get past $900. The idea of charging someone $1,000 It's like I just couldn't get it off my tongue. I was just like, no, that's it. I didn't even know what the fear is or whatever. And now it's like, yeah, now that I'm starting to send out 3, 4, I just sent out a $7,000 proposal.
I'm thinking about doing more. If you've seen his channel, he's recently shown his pivot, his intentional pivot, to becoming more of a production company instead of the freelance videographer. Whereas I have the opposing view, is I want to concrete myself as the freelance documentary DP. And I hit him up and said, hey, we should talk about how we have two polar opposite perspectives and what the benefits would be for each of us. I think it would be a cool conversation because a lot of people who are starting, or if they've been in their career forever, they still haven't made a hard and fast decision of which direction they want to go. So if anybody's interested in that, we'll be filming it soon, probably this week, and I'll be putting it out. A little bit of splash on the background with that 60D. I really wished I had gotten the 60X. I wish I've said that many times before, but with the light that small, it's just so convenient, and having bicolor is even more convenient. So we shot, and then just like that, everything's gone. Put it back to normal, no pure space violations. And then we move on to our third and final setup for the day. This is one of those moments that came about through proof of concept and not through pitching an idea. So a couple weeks ago, we were meant to shoot what was on the schedule. We weren't able to, so instead we had to pivot, and we shot this cooking segment for someone else in the company. Well, that got back to the powers that be, and they said, this looks phenomenal. So this is what it came about a few weeks ago. Now, Gabby normally films on her iPhone, so this was a huge level up in production. And when the company saw it, they said, we want to continue doing that. Now, I think if I had pitched that in the beginning, they would have said no. But once you see it, it just makes you want to continue doing that. And that's the same reason why I have had so much success with having a reel, having a portfolio, having a website, sharing the work on social media. That is the only way I can think of convincing people, is to show them proof of concept. This was our blank slate, and she normally never includes the windows, but since we got a lot of lights behind us, we can now have a window view.
I have the room ambience where I want it, but I definitely want a little bit more punch on the character, so bringing in the 300B and a lantern and just separate them more from the background.
I always like to have lights shooting from the exterior through the windows and see the dappling on the background inside. Sometimes you can't do that when I'm in a high-rise building for an office, but in this case, it looks good. I just wish I had gone higher and pointed down.
How does that look?
I can see it, and it looks good.
I need help with a question about clipping. I'm not talking about exposing to the right or anything like that, just purely clipped whites, clipped blacks. Because in this situation, I am recording Rec 709. I'm outputting that signal to my small HD and using false color. And it's just very easy to get a general sense of where the exposure is. And I stay clear of the hard red areas and the hard purple areas. The issues I'm coming into is when I am filming log, but monitoring Rec 709 and sending that over to the small HD. I feel like obviously it is not analyzing the log footage, it's analyzing the Rec 709 signal. So what in-camera tools are you using when you are shooting log but monitoring Rec 709? My hiccup in this process is I want to see the waveforms analyzing the log footage, but when I have a monitor LUT on there, I believe it's analyzing the Rec 709 footage. So do you just flick the LUT on and off, then turn on the waveforms to see your reading? Or are you looking at different IRE values when you have your Rec 709 monitor let on versus your log footage? If anybody has some clear, hard, and fast rules, I would love to, because right now I'm eyeballing it and it's working fine. Sometimes I feel like these jobs just land in my lap, but there is a bit of a finesse that happens in the hiring process from the initial reach out to stepping foot on set. So this one actually came from the recommendation of a job I did over a year ago for an NDA job, and just one of those, hey, who did you use on your last project? Oh, we used David. Great. What's his contact info? That's simple. Then they come and have a Zoom call with me.
Thanks, David. I appreciate it.
Bye. So that gig is in the bag. My full day rate, bringing an assistant, 4 hours on site for our red carpet event, and just having a little interview station where people walk in, 3 questions written out, and then they're out. Next one in, out, then a little bit of B-roll of the cocktail hour. That's it. Then it's time for some community. I love these industry monthly Zoom calls that AOD puts on. They always bring in some interesting people, talk about interesting projects, and I am not the only one who is listening. They have tons of students. I'm going to scroll through a couple of pages here who are just soaking up the info, having another connection point, and that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm hosting another Orlando filmmaker meetup. This is where I host the most often. I fund it myself, comes out of my pockets, but it is a cool effort that I think will grow into something bigger. Now for beer and soda, I already got the water. So before the event begins, Val, turn this place into being show ready.
And we're happy to give away a free hour.
Yeah, so they're going to give a studio session away as a raffle for free, which is awesome. They already have some drinks, so we'll add mine to that. Peacha's going to go over there. And then the way I like to do it is have zones. So like this will be one zone. These people can congregate here, 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 and then I think it's going to be packed in here. Because we had around 40 people sign up. So we'll probably take over the outside as well and just kind of have some pass through. I don't know how Val got everybody to wear booties, but that is no easy task. So I host in Orlando most frequently, and there is a core group of people who always make the effort to come out. And it's really cool because I get to hear the conversations of, this is what happened over the last 2 months in my businesses. But I'm always surprised when I hear these other random people saying, I drove from Jacksonville. Quintez came from Jacksonville. Emmanuel came from Port St. Lucie. And this was an awesome one. Jared, I had met him at this event in 2016, just doing event recap with the Canon 60D. Never seen him since until he found some YouTube stuff and was like, oh, I think I remember that guy from a few years ago. So he came out. It's just crazy the amount of connection points that you can get.
The survey says. Alex.
I'm going to continue hosting these. Like you've heard me say before, I want to take this into a national tour next year. And special thank you to Val and Emmanuel at Studio 124. And to cap off this vlog, I haven't been to any combat practice in 2-3 weeks, and it shows because I wasn't good before, but I'm even worse now. My feet were all soft, got a bunch of blisters, reaction time was slower, and not to mention cardio. So this was a great soft sparring partner, though. He was super respectful and was letting me work without destroying me. And it's so interesting because when you're in the moment, you're like, it's not going great, but it doesn't seem that bad. But then when you look at the footage, it's like, man, you really weren't doing anything out there. So just looking forward to getting more consistent, staying in the gym more, and kind of like figuring out the small things. Because right now, I just have so much to learn.
Oh, God. Which ball?